useless.
What's going on, Kangasghang? You're chilling with Trainer Zabuza, and today I've got an old school battle for you. Back when Mega Kangasghang was first allowed, back when Mega Gengar was first allowed. This is versus my bud, Hydreigon Master 635, aka Cody. And looking at his teams, we've got threats out the wazoo. We've got Mandibu's physically defensive wall, with Defog is pretty much a new Rapid Spin. Gengar, which is a potential Mega, and I don't need to tell you guys how much special attack and speed that thing has, along with its ability to trap Pokemon makes it a serious threat. Goodra, especially defensive wall. Scizor, which can be a physically defensive wall, especially defensive wall, could be offensive. Anything was possible when the new generation started. And finally, Staraptor, which I'm gonna have to guess is the good old classic Scarf with, Brave Bird, Double-Edged, Close Combat, maybe U-Turn. But enough with that, let's get to it! So, like I said before, my battle's against my good bud, Hydreigon Master 65, or Cody. I'm gonna start off with my Tyrantrum as he starts off with the Staraptor. And he goes straight up for the U-Turn, I'm guessing, predicting my switch, or thinking that this is, he would not be able to close combat to kill me. I don't know if he even had it at that point. But all I knew is I wanted to get up rocks. And the way he brought in the Scizor, I thought he might be Defog Scizor. I wasn't sure at the time, but I was willing to take a shot and just get up my rocks. But he's not. It's like in early Gen 6, you didn't know what people had what. Anyway, I switch in my Talonflame on his U-turn. He U-turns out into Mandibuzz. I go for U-turn myself and go into my Tyrantrum as he knocks off my Citrus Berry on my Tyrantrum. And, like, this is the early 6th gen, you didn't have a lot of items to choose from because there weren't a lot of leftovers going around. Obviously, this is not a problem anymore, but you had to make do with what you had. And I just decided to go for Stealth Rock to test the damage on this Mandibuzz, see how it handled it, just regular uninvested. And it does an okay amount, like, chip damage wise, but when it doesn't boost, it does a great amount. And he goes for Defog as I set up another layer of Stealth Rocks in the following turn, but he's going to switch out into his Scizor and go for a Bullet Punch as I go into my Talonflame. And Talonflame checks Scizor really well considering it has that fire resistance and it has priority roost, so it can actually out-prioritize Scizor and go for the roost itself while Scizor tries to go for Bullet Punch and it ends up not really working out. Anyway, he switches into his Goodra as I go for a U-turn to get off quite a bit of damage, and switching to my Florges thinking that it can wall it pretty well. However, he goes for Sludge Bomb. It does a decent amount, but I'm really not worried as I go for Moonblast and lower his special attack as he goes for Dragon Tail, predicting me to pass the Wish. But I actually see that I see he's trying to predict me to Wish Pass. And I'm thinking, I bet I can get him to waste his Goodra by constantly going for Dragon Tail when he thinks I'm going to Wish Pass. So I go ahead and try that, and it's working out pretty well. I'm going for Moonblast, I'm getting off some good damage, and his Goodra isn't really, it's not an issue for my Florges. But the Scizor is, which means I'm forced to switch out into my Talonflame as he goes for another Bullet Punch. And while I could have gone for another Roost, I thought that a Brave Bird would probably, or not Brave Bird, but Flare Blitz would probably be the better option here. And with Goodra moderately low, like just above half, that Flare Blitz is going to do lots and lots of nice damage. As I go for the Roost, predicting the switch and try and preserve it, but he goes for the Sludge Bomb, gets the poison, son of a bitch. And I'm not going to be able to... Talonflame's usefulness is now limited because now it's taking even more residual than it would have before with this with this poison damage, not toxic damage. Anyway, I knock him out with a U-turn, go into my Greninja as he goes into his Staraptor, and thinking that this might be the Scarf Staraptor set, I'm going to go into my Aegislash as he goes for Close Combat, and that is good to know. Why he didn't go for Close Combat on my Tyrantrum to begin with, I'm not sure, but that's just something that he'll have to leave in the comments below. Anyway, he switches into his Mandibuzz as I go for the Sacred Sword, trying to knock out his... if he brought in Mandibuzz, it would have been fine. If he brought in Braviary, or if he kept in Braviary, it would have been fine. There was no real reason to not go for Sacred Sword. And with him roosting constantly, I thought that Sacred Sword would probably be the best option. Sure, he'd be getting more and more HP back as he roosted constantly, but I thought that maybe eventually I'd get a crit and that might work, but it's weird. I'm trying to make him think that and switched out into my Florges, expecting him to not go for the roost, but he ends up switching out into a Scizor, and I end up switching out into my Tyrantrum as he goes for Swords Dance and Bullet Punch, and I take it, but I miss my Rock Slide, which means I'm not going to be able to get off a little bit of damage. Now, I went for that Rock Slide because I wanted to get off just a little bit more damage on Scizor, because I actually learned some... fighting in Showdown against Scizors with, like, Mega Kangaskhan, I learned something. I learned that I can go for a Fake Out combination with what is it? With Power Up Punch and Sucker Punch and be able to knock him out. But unfortunately, he has Roost, which means I can't do that. I send out my Greninja to get him down with Hydro Pump, but he ends up knocking out my Greninja. And here I'm going to knock him out with a priority Brave Bird. So down goes Scizor, and I'm a happy camper. Sure, it took a massive chunk out of my team, but I still have tools, including Mega Kangaskhan, to deal with the rest of his team. So I bring it out now, I go for the Fake Out, and at that range I can knock it out with Return, so why don't I, you ask? I don't know, I got greedy, I went for Power Up Punch instead, and now this Mandibuzz is going to be able to get off a Defog, which means no more Hazards damage, which is really, really unfortunate. It's like Tyrantrum came in, I don't have it anymore, so I can't set up rocks again, so it's just gone. Anyway, he brings in his Phantom as I have my Kangaskhan out, and this is just pretty much a prediction battle, as Cody says himself, the best way to deal with Kangaskhan is to stall it out of Sucker Punches, and here I go for 5 Sucker Punches to make him think that I run out by switching out after the 5th, as he goes for, and going to my Florges, he goes for Sludge Bomb. It doesn't do anything to, it does an okay amount to Florges, not great. He goes for Shadow Ball and gets a special defense drop, which is, it's bull crap because now I'm forced to switch out. As I go for Moonblast, the crit was a nice touch, I guess that helps a little bit, but still I have to switch out here. I go into my Aegis Slash, as he goes for another Sludge Bomb, it's not going to affect me. And fearing the Shadow Sneak, he's going to pull back, go into his Mandibuzz, which you should fear the Shadow Sneak, I do have it. And it's going to be nowhere near enough to knock out this Mandibuzz. So I can try and go for a Sacred Sword, but I know that I was almost sure he was going to Roost, but I didn't want to bother with it. And because I know that Florges has some decent special attack, and with Fairy being super effective, I can do a really good amount to it. So I go for Moonblast. His Staraptor is almost one-shotted, which is really cool. And I go into my Aegis Slash, back into my Aegis Slash, as he goes for Brave Bird. And Aegis Slash takes that like an absolute champ. And now I was kind of predicting him to just fodder off his Staraptor by getting off more damage, so I go for the King Shield, but he's going to bring in his Mandibuzz, and this thing is such a pain in the ass right now. Because I know he wants to go for knockoff, and I'm not going to let him knock off my Aegis Slash right now. I need it at a good amount of HP, and I need it to have leftovers. So I bring in my Florges. Maybe I should have gone for another King Shield so Florges could take another one, but it's not really going to matter, I guess, because he knocks out my Florges with 2 knockoffs. And I'm going to bring in my Kangaskhan now, go for the combination of Fake Out and Return, and knock it out like I should have before. Why I didn't do it before, I have no idea. Those hazards from before would have helped me so much this time. I don't know why I tried to let it live. So now he's going to go into his Vivillon. I don't know why, because I know I outspeed it, because I am the Jolly set. I go for Return, knock him out with 1 hit, and he goes into his Phantom, his Gengar. And trying to keep the facade that I'm out of Sucker Punches, I go into my Aegis Slash, and I'm confident I could take a Shadow Ball even after this, and I know I can. He goes for a Shadow Ball, I know I can live, except he gets a crit. Son of a bitch. I had to calc it because that crit so totally mattered, and it was such bull, because I could have gone for the Hidden Power Ice, I could have gone for the Shadow Sneak afterwards to knock him out, and it's just like, oh my god. So here I go for Power Punches, he goes for Sludge Bomb. I'm trying to trick him into thinking I don't have any more Sucker Punches, however, he sees through it, and here I'm going to bow out because I just don't want to try and play a prediction battle. So that was a good game, Cody. I'm sorry I bowed out before it was over, but I just did not want to try and do a prediction battle where you might think that, hey, I'm going to go for Sucker Punch now, I'm going to go for Sucker Punch now, because I only had 2 left, and yeah, there was a chance that I could have maybe done something with predictions, but if I'm not at +2, I can't actually knock out your Gengar from full health, so there was really just no point in continuing. But let's get on to the talk of the week. This talk of the week, I want to ask you guys, what are your guys' opinions on how the X and Y competitive scene was when it first came out compared to how it is now? I, for one, am enjoying that the tiers are finally getting established. We have UU, at the end of the month we're going to have RU, and in a few more months after that we're going to have NU. So that's what I'm enjoying most about how things are changing in the new metagame. What do you guys enjoy most? Leave your comments down in the comments section below. I hope you guys all enjoyed that battle, and I will see you next time.